Hello, my name is Jared, and I am here to give you a review of Day 1 of WrestleMania 41. Gunther took on Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. Uso starts with a collar and elbow tie-up, with Gunther dominating early on, before Uso hits him with a spear. Gunther hits him with his powerbomb on Uso, but he kicks out. Gunther goes for a move, but Uso reverses with a Hurricanrana and hits Gunther with another spear. He goes to the top rope for a Uso splash, but Gunther kicks out. Gunther heads out of the ring and walks off with his title. However, Uso runs past the referee and he attempts a suicide dive, but Gunther throws his title at him. Gunther puts Uso in his submission hold, but Jey Uso escapes it. Gunther would then hit Uso with a series of chops, but Uso would just laugh it off, as Jey Uso is not afraid of Gunther here. Jey Uso would then hit a power bomb of his own on Gunther for a near fall. Jey Uso would then hit 3 Uso splashes. And then he would go to put Gunther in his submission hold, which Gunther would tap out, giving Jey Uso his first World Championship in WWE. Jey Uso celebrates, and then he sees his brother Jimmy Uso, and they would both celebrate together with his World Heavyweight Championship. The next match was the Raw Raiders taking on the New Day for the World Tag Team Championship. So just going off my notes here, Kingston would hit a move from the top rope on Ivar on his neck while Woods holds him. I believe Woods would go after Eric and hit him with a hammer throw. Ivar would hit a spinning kick. Woods would cheat, so Kingston would get the pinfall to win the tag team championship. Not getting the clean win here. Fans weren't really interested in this match. I believe the WWE tag team title should have been on this show. However, we got a title change here. But fans weren't really too invested in this match, I'd say. The next match was Jade Cargill and Naomi. Going off my notes, Naomi would pull Cargill out of the ring. Reading off my writing here, Cargill attempts to go off a top rope, her jaded finisher, but Naomi would reverse it into a bulldog. Notice there was a lot of reversals in this match. Lots of back and forth action in this match, which was very enjoyable, kept the fans engaged. Naomi would hit a split leg onto Cargill. Cargill would reverse into a power bomb. A really cool looking power bomb here. Was really impressive. Jade Cargill was quite impressive here. Was in this match, I thought she really had a good strong showing in this match. And then Cargill would hit her jaded finisher on Naomi to pick up the win. So good to see Naomi having a singles match at Jade Cargill 2 strong here. Good performance, I thought. better than I thought it would be, so thumbs up for that one. The next match was LA Knight taking on Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship. So, LA Knight entered with a car in this match, coming to the ring. So, Knight went for the BFT straight away in this match on Fatu. Would kick out, trying to get the quick pin over Jacob Fatu here. Fatu would then hit a swanton off the top rope for a near fall, and then Fatu would go for a moonsault, but Knight would reverse it into a BFT. Now this was the best spot of the match. Very impressive looking here. I really enjoyed it. The fans were really into this spot. Fatu would put his feet on the rope. Fans thought LA Knight may have retained the title here, seeing how impressive it was. So this was definitely the highlight of the match. Fatu would then hit 3 moonsaults on LA Knight to pin him to win the United States title. So Fatu winning the United States Championship in his first singles title match in WWE. Now, the next match, it was supposed to be Rey Mysterio against El Grande Americano, but unfortunately on SmackDown yesterday, Mysterio was injured, so he was replaced by Rey Fenix in this match, who recently made his debut in WWE, who has been very impressive so far, coming over from AEW, of course. So, yeah, the fans have really been getting into the El Grande Americano storyline, wondering who it is. But we all know. Well, some people think it's Chad Gable, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. El Grande would then hit a backflip from the top rope. El Grande would then So it was a very high-flying match with lots of pretty spectacular moves. The match started to change, and El Grande Americano would put metal in his mask, which he has been in recent weeks, which how he's been picking up victories by using these dirty tactics. Phoenix would kick him in the face from the top rope. By having metal in his face, he would hurt his foot from it. So El Grande Americano would take advantage by putting Phoenix in an ankle lock, and then would hit a headbutt from the top rope, which is a move that Chad Gable does. So taking a page out of Gable's book here, and then as he picked up the move, he would pick up the win. So it was entertaining, good. It was weird. Rey Mysterio couldn't participate in this match, so I feel bad for him not being able to participate. However, they managed to turn a negative into a positive here. The next match was Tiffany Stratton defending the Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair. I didn't write down as much notes for this one. It was a good match, I thought. However, I thought it could have been a bit better. There was something missing, I thought, just with these two. The build-up to this match has been a bit awkward with the segments on TV. So, Stratton, some highlights from this match would hit her prettiest moonsault. And then Charlotte Flair would hit natural selection. And then it looks like Stratton had lost a tooth in this match. So, Charlotte looked like was being pretty aggressive, yeah, here a bit. So pretty, hard hitting sort of match. Um, yeah, so Stratton hit another prettiest moonsault onto Charlotte Flair to retain her championship. So Tiffany Stratton winning over the Royal Rumble winner here, Charlotte Flair, who still is a 14-time world champion. So Charlotte Flair didn't pick up the win here, which did surprise me a little bit. But good to see Tiffany Stratton win this match, go over here. And then we had all the Hall of Fame inductees come out, with Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin from their WrestleMania match, and then Michelle McCool and Triple H, the headline act, would come out. And the match next, and then it would be time for our WrestleMania Day 1 main event, which saw Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk with Paul Heyman, as that was the favor that Paul Heyman owed him. So Paul Heyman would be in CM Punk's corner. Weird to see not seeing Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns' corner for really the first time this decade, since the pandemic, really. Since this tribal chief stuff started, so. So Punk and Rollins would start off the match with Punk outside the ring with Paul Heyman talking strategy. So here, as they start this match, so Punk would then come back in the ring to brawl with Rollins. And then they would brawl into the crowd with Punk using a chair from the crowd at one stage. As they made their way back, they brawling through the crowd, making their way back over. Reigns would dive over the barricade, over Punk and Rollins into the crowd, that was a really cool spot. Reigns would then take control of the match, take control of them, and then Punk would take control, hitting running knees at Reigns and Rollins. So Punk would do would then put them. I forgot the move, into the ground. Punk would hit a diving elbow on Rollins and hit a doomsday device on both Rollins and Reigns when they're both on the top rope. Reigns would then hit a Superman punch on Punk, and then Rollins would hit a frog splash on them, as Punk would attempt a pin on Reigns. Rollins would hit a buckle bomb on Reigns. Reigns would then attempt a spear on Rollins, only for Rollins to reverse into a pedigree, which was really cool. And then Rollins would hit a stomp on Reigns for a 2 count, a near 4 here. So this was a really cool sequence of moves in this one. So, and then Reigns would then hit a spear on Rollins, and then Punk would hit a GTS on Reigns for a near 4. Rollins would then hit a pedigree on Punk for a 2 count. Rollins would then set Punk up outside of the ring, and then Rollins says to Reigns, CM Punk is the one that's the problem. Let's get rid of him. He doesn't belong here. Let's remove him from the equation. So it looks like Reigns goes outside the ring not knowing what to do here. So here we tease it, what he's going to do, and then he's go after Punk with Rollins, only for Reigns to sucker Rollins in, and he would attack him. And then Reigns would then hit a powerbomb on Punk and put Punk through the announce table on these new announce tables, and they actually do break. So I didn't think they would break, but they do. And then he would hit a power bomb to Rollins on the other announce table, on the Spanish announce table, putting him through the table. And then Reigns would put Rollins back in the ring, hit him with a spear for a near fall. And then Punk would come back in and hit a GTS on Rollins for Rollins to kick out. And then, well, all three men were then, shortly after, they're all on the ground. And then Paul Heyman is trying to decide what to do. So he picks up a steel chair outside of the ring. And then he would look at Punk and Reigns, who were both near each other, deciding who would he give the chair to. And then he would choose Punk over Reigns, to Reigns' disbelief. So as Punk is about, so Heyman would then get in the chair in the ring at this point. So Punk is about to use the chair on Reigns, but then Heyman would come from behind and hit him with a low blow to Punk, putting him down. So looking like that, that Heyman had turned on Punk and would go with his tribal chief Roman Reigns, who would then beat up Punk with a chair, and then Reigns would walk towards Rollins with a chair with Heyman, encouraging him. And just as Reigns is about to hit Rollins, reminiscent of the Shield betrayal, Heyman would come up from behind and give Reigns a low blow as well. So Paul Heyman had betrayed both Roman Reigns and CM Punk in this match. So Seth Rollins, without even looking at Heyman gives Rollins a chair, and then would beat up Roman Reigns with a chair, and then would hit his stomp on Reigns as Heyman watches him for the corner as Rollins pinned Roman Reigns to pick up the win in this match. So that was the big twist, the big climax in this match. Seth Rollins winning in this match, the main event of WrestleMania Day 1, winning here. Seth Rollins definitely needed the win here out of these two. Reigns didn't need it. He's won many Mania main events. And, well, Punk winning would have been cool, but yeah, Rollins winning and aligning with Heyman just made this one more memorable. So Rollins and Heyman walked out of the ring after the match as they have now aligned with one another, as Seth Rollins is now a Paul Heyman guy, betraying both Reigns and Punk. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see where we go from here. So Seth Rollins completing a heel turn, going fully heel with Paul Heyman winning here. So I thought this was an excellent triple threat match. Excellent stuff, man. Probably the best triple threat match I've ever seen. Just so much action in this match. Perfect storytelling. Just a fantastic story. Fans are very invested, very engaged. And it was a great way to finish the show. Because, yeah, it was lacking at times. Memorable moments. And, well, this one main event had really made it worth something, a thumbs up show, else it wouldn't have been. So, yeah, this match really did save the show, I believe. So, good start. Hopefully they can continue at WrestleMania Day 2. So hopefully it can be, some of the other matches can be a bit better. So, yeah, so that is your review WrestleMania Day 1. So Seth Rollins picking up the win, Jey Uso winning the World Heavyweight title, Jacob Fatu winning the United States title. And that is your review here. So thanks for joining me.